This here is the Ford Ranger Super Duty, the SuperCab version, and I have done a full detailed review talking about everything you need to know about the double cab, and you can see that video down below by clicking on the link. But in this shorter review, I'm going to talk about what is specific to the SuperCab, and as this is a press vehicle, I've had a chance to take this on a long drive around Sydney on the freeway, and I've also got some off-road coverage as well. So still a bit to talk about. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell, and let's get straight into the review. Like I said, I'm not going to go into full detail, but I'll show you how the doors open on the SuperCab version. You have a lever here and a little bit of space for smaller people, kids in fact, because when I put this seat back, there isn't any knee room. Toe room's okay, and so is headroom, but there are no ISOFIX or top tether points. So therefore, the double cab version is the better option for a family vehicle. You do have storage here for a small water bottle, map pockets, a bit of storage here for a phone, AC power socket, and a 12-volt socket. The seats aren't that cushiony, but you do get some underfloor storage to keep items hidden, and over on the left side, the location for the toolkit. So there we have it. Okay, for its use, and the XLT is coming very soon with synthetic leather, heating and cooling, and I think that is going to be the model that will be more popular, whereas in the interim, Super Duty form is only available in base model spec, so you get cloth seats and a plastic interior. Oh, and one more thing before we go for a drive, trays are optional. It does not come with anything as standard, so yeah, ranging from 6,000 to 12,000 depending if you just go for a tray setup or one of the optional packages, but just keep that in mind, the tray is an accessory. Okay, driving impressions. So like on the standard Ranger, good all-round visibility, but it is worth pointing out that the Super Duty does have big chunky wing mirrors, and that is great for side vision and also looking behind you. But if you do come towards a roundabout, for example, it does block visibility looking forwards, or at least towards that direction. But apart from that, it is pretty easy to drive, and I am currently going through some narrow streets. There's a good turning circle radius, a lot better comparing it to a 70 series, not as tight as a standard Ranger, but steering wise, it hasn't lost the character of a Wild Track V6, for example. So pretty controllable and pretty good feedback all round. Now, although this is the base model, the XLT will be coming soon and you get synthetic leather, heated and cooling. This just has the fabric seats with dual zone climate control, but it's still a pretty comfortable car to travel around in. It's pretty quiet, and that is something that you cannot say about a Land Cruiser 70 series because there is no insulation and a lot of wind noise coming into the Land Cruiser, whereas this, it's pretty refined overall. And this is also fitted with the all-terrain tyres, which isn't ideal for on-road driving, but still plenty of grip in the wet. And of course you've got larger brakes, which helps with towing abilities, because you do need big chunky brakes if you are towing 4.5 tons. What you'll also notice is it does feel heavier, and the suspension is very thick and chunky. You can pretty much go through any pothole, it'll take it. And of course it's not going to be as plush comparing it to an F-150, Chevy Silverado, or a Ram 1500 with air suspension. And yeah, as you can see with my voice and see with the camera footage, it's bumpy some of the times, but overall pretty refined for this sort of utility vehicle. Acceleration wise, well, that is a downside because it has been detuned, not only for emissions but also to cope with the weight of towing 4.5 tons, and that does come as a benefit when it comes to off-road driving. But when you do put your foot down, it does feel quite gutless compared to the standard Ranger V6. The safety systems, they're okay in a Ranger. You do have the lane centering system sometimes going off. Even though you are in the lane, it will still beep at you, and the recross traffic alert can be a bit temperamental sometimes, but apart from that, pretty good overall. And in terms of fuel consumption, the official combined figure is 12 litres per 100. Now this does have an extended fuel tank of 130 litres, and around town you are going to average 15 litres per 100, so it does suck up fuel. And on the motorway, just below 11 litres, because don't forget it does run permanently in four-wheel drive automatic, which uses more fuel. If you are going to be just driving around, and if you just want a Ford Ranger, you're using it for lifestyle, there really is no point buying a Super Duty unless if you are going to use its capabilities. Okay, off-road driving impressions. So compared to the standard Ranger, what you are going to notice when you are going off-road, it does have a wider track, same as the Ford Ranger Raptor. So it does feel more capable, and of course you've got those bigger, stronger control arms, off-road suspension, and the heavy-duty tyres as well. So straight from the box, it is much more capable. And even going through potholes, we went down through Wingello, into a speed hump, and even just how tight the suspension felt like nothing could stop this car. You do also have a few drive modes as well, Eco, Normal and Sport for on-road driving, and also some off-road driving modes, Slippery, Mud, Sand and Rock, and that'll also engage the four-wheel drive system to what it thinks it needs to be in, making off-roading a little bit easier. So if you see a pile of rocks, put it into that drive mode and the car will set itself up. But if you want to do things yourself, four-wheel drive high range for gravel, snow, going up and down wet hills, and four-wheel drive low range when you are going up and down steep inclines. It's also quite bouncy off-road, more bouncy than what I expected it to be, not as compliant compared to the Raptor, but still pretty comfortable. And on a wet road, it's pretty much Land Cruiser capable, but I don't know about the 70 series. I think the 70 series is a far more sufficient vehicle for off-roading because, one, it's more reliable, and the four-wheel drive system is more basic, where everything on this is electronic and pretty laggy and unresponsive sometimes. For example, swapping from 4 low to 4 high. Now going down this hill, I'll push this, it brings up a camera, all your off-road driving modes, menus, and you can lock in an off-road cruise control, and it also works as your hill descent control, kangaroos. And going down this hill, the wheels aren't grabbing too much. Some people prefer to do it themselves, but if you needed to, it's a pretty good system. There's also good clearance, good wheel articulation, so you're not going to knock anything fragile or sensitive like the sun, for example, and you've also got thicker steel bash plates. Now, going up the first hill, we're going to try four-wheel drive high range. Mind you, it is a little bit wet. It's doing it quite nicely. A little bit of wheel slip. In the first hill, very good feedback through the wheel. And yeah, there you go. Pretty capable. And now the trail turn assist function. So this works pretty well in a standard Ranger and even the Tremor, but I've noticed in the Super Duty, I think it's because of the tyres, it's not as effective. But this is what it looks like. As you can see, it locks the inner wheel, tightening up your turning circle radius. And now we're going to go back up the hill, but it is starting to rain a little bit, so I'm going to engage four-wheel drive low range, neutral, and I'm also going to engage the front and rear diff locks. So that's all engaged, activated, And now going back up the hill, we are going to engage four-wheel drive low range and lock the front and rear differential because it is wet. So all locked in, slowly creeping up, no troubles at all. And so, a conclusion on the Ranger Super Duty. Would I pick out a Super Duty comparing it to a 70 series? Well, for work purposes, as these don't have the best reputation for reliability, I'd pick out the Toyota. But if I did want a lifestyle vehicle that can off-road, can tow, I would consider a Super Duty if I had the money, but I'd pick out the XLT double cab version. And I think these are going to be very popular, but not so much for commercial use because of the reputation. And for this to work, it has to be ultra reliable, and it is also very expensive. So yes, I think it will sell, but buyers will just buy it for the sake of buying it. But tell me what you think. Would you pick this over anything else? Let me know your thoughts, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.